mess down there, Sarah.
Starting to regret bringing me back?
Never.
I heard about what happened with your friend Tychus. I'm sorry.
He made his choice. I made mine.
Maybe you should have let him kill me. I slaughtered millions as the Queen of Blades.
That wasn't you, Sarah. Leave the past behind, and let's focus on getting out of here. I'll suit up and meet you here in an hour.
Okay. That sounds good.
Hey everyone, Ghost Hunter 385 here. Way too many cutscenes. Just too many. But in any case, let's get into things here, shall we?
Dominion forces in sectors 3, 4, and 6.
Sarah.
All personnel must evacuate.
This is Nova. Begin your sweep. Find Kerrigan.
Bravo team, acknowledge.
The killing will never stop until Minsk is dead. I'm going to make him pay.
That's enough of that. Get it together, darling.
Bravo team, come in. Are you there, Bravo? All units to Sector 6. Go, go, go!
We gotta go.
Been a long time.
Like riding a bike.
Yep. Like riding a bike.
Yeah, cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. But it's the beginning of the game. Oh well. But anyway, let's get into today's topic, because I already did my intro in between the cutscenes and blah 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 blah. Today's subject is hoflation. And the idea of hoflation is basically that men have to work X amount harder for women who are X amount worse. I think the general description says men have to work 20 times harder for women 20 times worse than their grandparents' generation. And I actually disagree with this. Now, do I disagree with the concept of this idea? Not on the whole. I disagree with... I think the best way to phrase this is I disagree with it on the grounds of where it is. Because if we're talking in the United States, if you're in places like LA, New York, any like the really big metropolitans, I think you're looking more like 30, maybe even more. But if you're going to rural towns, it could be anywhere from, I want to say 10 to 5 maybe. It depends on where you are. Now, people will sit there and say, how can you say that, Ghost Hunter? That doesn't make any sense. Actually, it does. How does it make sense? geographical location will always dictate what goes on around you. If you're living in small town here, small town there, where there aren't really the big city influences, sure, there's social media here, social media there, there's all of that around.
Work to be done.
Sure, still there. But are you living in a major metropolitan populace where it's just like, oh, Sarah, did you hear her? Jean's got a rotation and she's got that old silver fox guy who has a ton of money. I'm so jealous, girl. No, that's actually not there. There is a part of that that's there, but it's not there completely. So, you know, it's small town drama compared to big city hustle and big city problems in a nutshell.
We'll handle them.
So, you know, I don't disagree that the idea isn't real. I disagree with the idea that, you know, it's, you know, straight across the board 20%. Now, I could already sit here and hear some guys, well, Ghost Hunter, it's still terrible. I don't disagree. Life is terrible. Life is shitty. You know, the Marine Corps has a joke, the green weenie. And what is the green weenie? It's the Marine Corps lifestyle bending you over the desk and giving it to you real nice and hard. That's the joke, the green weenie. But you can also roll with the punches in your life and do the best that you can. And I've always found that when I roll with the punches and do the best to my ability, that works out way better than just letting life just keep bending me over and doing what it wants to me. Sad fact of life there. But it's a hard lesson that I think people seem to forget. Your life's crappy, figure out a way to make it better. You'll eventually find a way.
Pushing ahead.
But, you know, back on to the subject of hoflation and everything, you know, it's, you know, people will sit there and say, well, what, aside from moving out of the city and blah, 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 what else can you do? And the answer to that is really sad, is that you can't do anything because of all the influences. What influences, Ghost Hunter? Well, gee, take social media for a minute. You've got women who are like, I'm living my best life. I'm on yachts in Dubai. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Blah, 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 blah.
Keep moving. They're about to seal the area.
And it's like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that pretty young, attractive women are being flown out by, you know, men who are, you know, mega wealthy and, you know, at least their 40s, maybe older. And they're just doing this for what? So they can party? So in other words, they're basically being used as prostitutes. So in other words, you're giving up what a lot of conservatives say is your body, you're this, you're that, just for cheap thrills. Because, you know, the party's got to come to an end. I mean, who was it? I think it was the reggae. He does reggae. It's Shaggy. Yeah, that's it, Shaggy. Shaggy has a song, well, the party's got to come to an end at some point. So, you know, people who sit there and think that, you know, well, not people, but women who sit there and think, oh, yeah, I'm going to be, men love me, men want this, men want that. Well, sad part is that just as for men, life is cruel for women. You're young, you're beautiful, you're wanted and attractive. Skip forward about 15 years of alcohol, partying, and everything else under the sun. You ain't gonna be that pretty young thing anymore. And let's not forget whatever drugs you've taken aside from the booze. Because it's funny. There are those there are the before and after photos that people who are against drugs use.
Looks like a rough fight.
And the thing that's actually really disturbing is just how sad it is you sit there and watch how these people look. They look normal, they look fine, they look healthy, and then you've got heroin, cocaine, crack cocaine, other things, and it's like, you know, even ecstasy and stuff, and you sit there and watch
Let's go.
as these people's change from, you know, attractive, normal looking people to like, what the hell happened to you? Like, the person in the left does look like the person in the right, but they just look so different. They look so unhealthy. They look so sick. It's sad, really.
Work to be done.
But, you know, what happened, you know, it's what happens when the party's over, da-da-da-da-da-da. And for a lot of women, when the party's over and it hits you hard, ooh, it hits you hard. Now, am I going to sit here and preach to women, oh, you need to not party, you need to not live? No, I'm not telling you to do anything of the sort. I'm just telling you, I already made a video about, what was it? Oh, yeah, playing with fire, and don't cry about your own choices, your actions and choices because you did it to yourself. Yeah. I already made a video about that where if you're going to run around, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, I have no sympathy for you. Because guess what? You did it to yourself. It's like the unhappy person who lives an unhappy life, who's I'm unhappy. So what are you going to do about it? I'm going to run away from this current situation because I think I can do better. X many years later, are you any happier? No! So what was the point of doing that? I don't know! Leave me alone.
The tram's picking up pace.
The point
Stay frosty, kids.
is here and still stands, is that you live life how you choose to live it. You can either choose to find the good in it or the bad in it. Kind of up to you. But, you know, what do you do? Now people will sit there and say, you know, well, how do we counter this hopeflation? Well, the sad part is that without a major disaster, most likely in the economic sector, you know, there's nothing you can do. What? Ghost Hunter says there's nothing you can do. Ghost Hunter, you have tons of solutions for these problems. We've heard you pontificate them all off. Well, sadly, you can't fix all the problems in the world by just, I don't know, having good ideas. You need to have actionable ideas. And the sad part is there's really no way to have an actionable idea against hopeflation because guess what? There's not really much you can do about it. What do you mean, Ghost Hunter? There's gotta be a way to counter it. Well, if you want to go to the extremes, shut down social media and shut down online dating. Shut down a lot of, no, not all of modern things, but shut down a lot of things. And then give it about 40, 50 years. And then hopeflation might go down because you're forcing people to stay within their same class, as it were. But that's it. There's nothing else you can do. Ghost Hunter, I sincerely doubt that. Well, think of the analogy in the major big city. Or better yet, think of the show, Sex in the City, where you have 4 single, successful, moderately attractive women who run around playing in town with, oh, this guy's hot, this guy's not, this guy wants this with me, this guy wants that with me, blah, 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 blah. Look, more and more women live up to Sex in the City than they live up to reality. What do you mean they live up to the ideology? They live to the ideology and the ideation, but not reality. Well, think about it for a minute here, folks. Solidly, think about it for a minute. if you were to listen to reality, reality would be like, well, Sex in the City is a pipe dream because there's no way in the current lifestyle that any person can just do what these women have done. A lot of these women are successful, but a lot of them are also in their 30s or older. And, you know, it's also how, you know, they're successful, they're running around with different hot men, blah, 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 blah. You know, they've got all these men chasing after them. But that's not reality. People will sit there and say, what do you mean that's not reality? The answer is simple. Most men who are in their 30s or 40s, who have got their life in order and built together, they're not chasing after that 30, 40-year-old woman who he hopes to start a family with. He has no intention of doing that. For them, they're his playthings. They're his things that he calls for fun. Does he actually start the relationship with them? No, he doesn't. He starts his relationship. He generally goes for a woman who's, you know, 15 to, I don't know, maybe 20 years younger. You mean a predator? Okay, big difference between predator and someone who does something. And a man who's looking for a younger woman to have children with. Because the biggest lie out there is that these men are predators when they're actually not. Ghost Hunter, I can't believe you're defending predators. I'm not defending a predator. A predator is someone who goes after a 13, 14-year-old girl and wants and just tricks her, deceives her, and goes her to being with her. But a 40-year-old man dating and marrying a 20-year-old woman when they're both legally consenting adults, that's not predatory unless the guy's an absolute abusing control freak. I'm going to say that straight up. But that's her choice. It's like the double standard things. If a guy prefers to date a younger woman, he's a predator. But if a woman chooses to date an older man, it's a preference. It's the double standard that needs to be stopped. And it needs to be stopped hardcore if you want to be technical. But, you know, how do we fix hoflation? Well, again, I already said it earlier. You gotta shut it down. You gotta shut down the dating apps. You gotta shut down social media. You gotta shut down this idea that, you know, there's always something better. Because there's not always something better. I mean, if you're lucky, you might find better. Like, really lucky. Or or the best way to phrase this is, think of it like karma. If you leave somewhere because you think you're in a bad situation when you're not, almost 9 times out of 10, all the stories you hear on Reddit are, oh, I left my husband because I thought I could do better. I left my husband because the spark was gone. The butterflies were gone. Whatever. 9 times out of 10, they're in worse situations. And more likely in other cases, there's also cases of depression involved as well. So it's like, you left a perfectly good situation, there's no abuse, there's no this, there's no that. It's it's not the best situation, but it's better than what could be, and it's like, nope, I'm out of here, I'm unhappy, I want to go. Okay, you go. Are you any happier? 7 out of 10? No, they're not happier. But in any case, like, subscribe, bang that bell, and I will see everybody in the next video.